get physically sick sometimes. And whenever you hear me up here in a long pause, it's not because I'm struggling for my next talking point. I'm angry. I get upset. We have a president that accuses us of jetting up the fear. We are jetting up the fear because we are protesting for our rights against a tyrannical system. To me, that is the most amazing statement. We're jetting up fear while our country is arming itself to the teeth against us, simultaneously trying to disarm us. And for those of you that are not specifically aware, you need to know. The Department of Homeland Security to date has ordered over 2 billion rounds of ammunition. This is a domestic security force created in the wake of the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. I'm sure some of us, even myself, I initially supported the Patriot Act until I found out what it was. I certainly did not support NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. The National Defense Authorization Act, along with the Department of Homeland Security, are arming themselves for civil unrest against the citizens of this country. And if you think that's a crazy statement, I encourage you to research it, and you tell me, what does a domestic security force need 2 billion rounds of ammunition, 3,000 armored vehicles, and 7,000 fully automatic rifles? Tell me what they need it for. Who's attacking us in the homeland? 2 billion rounds of ammunition, to put it in perspective for you, would rage a full-out ground war in the United States for 30 years. 30 years. That's how much 2 billion rounds of ammunition. Why in the hell does the Department of Homeland Security have 2 billion rounds of ammunition? That's just something I encourage you to research. You need to look into that. And we must demand that Congress get answers. We must demand that we find out, why do they have this armament? Why are they arming themselves against the people? One minute? You are kidding.
No.
Oh my God.
More.
Oh, okay, 1 minute. Oh my goodness. I wish you told me that 10 minutes ago. Just do your research. Please research the things I've told you. Let me tell you some things that we need to cling to. Every sheriff in the state of Utah has issued a letter to the White House saying not only will they not enforce unconstitutional laws, they will stand with their citizens in resistance. They will stand with their citizens in resistance. Every sheriff in the state of Florida has issued an open letter to the government saying not only will they not enforce unconstitutional laws, they will stand in resistance with their citizens. For a sheriff to say he will not enforce does not mean much to me. We need sheriffs and politicians to say not only will they not enforce, they will stand in resistance with their citizens against federal agents if need be. Can I go 2 minutes over? It's not aggressive. It's not threatening. It's a defensive position. They are aggressive against us. It is nothing against the law or aggressive to say that a line must be drawn if they start trying to confiscate guns here in Texas or pass laws like they have in New York or Colorado. We need to be aware they've already passed tyrannical laws in New York and Colorado. So it can happen here if we're not vigilant. States are falling as we speak. 18 states right now have already passed or seriously considering passing similar legislation that was passed in New York. We need to stay on top of that. Chief of Police Mark Kessler in Pennsylvania has put out an open letter to his citizens in the newspaper, encouraging his citizens to report to his department to receive training, firearms, ammunition, and fatigues to join a reserve force, if necessary, in case they have to draw the line on federal officials in Pennsylvania. We need to pass laws, in closing, we need to pass laws in this country that say if something is not of the Constitution, it should be inconsiderable by lawmakers. We should not ever have to debate this. If something is not of the Constitution or is not supported by your constitutional rights, it should not even be considerable. We should not have to protest. We should not have to vote. All right, I know I got to go, and I really kind of feel bad. I had a whole lot more to say, but time flies. You know how it does. Before I leave, I have drafted a Second Amendment resolution for the city of Longview. The mayor and the sheriff are present. I hope everybody realizes we must be aggressive. We must assert our rights. For our cities and towns to say there's no reason to pass resolutions because the state of Texas has our back, that's being quiet. We know the other side isn't being quiet. We gotta make noise and assert our rights. I have prepared, I've got multiple copies of this resolution. All it has to do is be signed and voted on by the city council. It's one paragraph, I'll read it and I'm done. Therefore, let it be resolved by the city of Longview, Texas as follows. The citizens and representatives, the city council, the mayor of Longview hereby call upon our state legislators and elected officials to join with us in the affirmation of our rights under the Second Amendment. All federal acts, laws, executive orders, agency orders, and rules or regulations of all kinds with the purpose to intent or effect or confiscate any firearm, banning any firearm, limiting the purchase for any firearm, taxing any firearm, or the ammunition therefore, or requiring registration of any firearm or ammunition therefore, infringes upon Texans' rights to keep and bear arms and is in direct violation of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. And therefore any such law is not made in pursuance to the Constitution, it is not authorized by the Constitution, and thus it is not the supreme law of the land, and consequently it is invalid in the state of Texas, and shall be further considered null and void in the city of Longview.
Hey! Hey!
That all agencies of Longview, Texas are instructed to refuse requests or directives by any federal agencies acting under any unconstitutional powers enumerated in Section 2 above that would infringe upon the rights of the Second, the Fourth, the Ninth, or the 10th Amendment, or any other inalienable rights granted to us by our Creator and not enforceable by man or explicitly here enumerated. Two more sentences. The copy of this resolution should be immediately transmitted to the President of the United States, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, each member of Congress from the state of Texas, each Justice of the United States Supreme Court, the Attorney General of the state of Texas, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Texas Legislature, and each individual legislature that represents our district in the state of Texas, and the Sheriff of Gregg County.
Hey.